Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes to go. No, 5 minutes to go. Sorry about that. 5 minutes until we start. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes to go. So, going to be picking up where we left off last time. Helping Barshan and Justinian figure out what to do with all the money we found. And some lingering questions with what we found in that vault. And also there's some spooky stuff going on with the World of Darkness. I think we're gonna have to figure out what's going on with all that as well. As you're watching, if you are experiencing any kind of problems, any kind of audio issues, if something is too quiet or too loud, please by all means let me know and I will do my best to figure it out and get to the bottom of it. And of course, if you are ready to go ahead and get things started, just go ahead and tell me. Because, you know, waiting around, getting everything set up is partly for the benefit of my audience, so that they can trickle in. But if you're eager to get going, I'm eager to get going. So if you think it's time to go, it's time to go. Alright, 2 minutes to go. I think that's long enough to wait. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, gonna be continuing. Wow, words are hard all of a sudden? Goodness. Alright, it's time to get started. So, sharing the wealth. Marshawn wishes to discuss the distribution of the treasure. Speak with Matsuya in Akiali. Alright, let's get going. And I know there is a significant delay between what I'm doing and what YouTube is showing you. If you have any tips on how I can cut that down or get rid of that delay entirely, please let me know, because I find it a little bit irritating. Okay, Matsuya, my dear friend, what do you got for me? Elijah, I'm so glad to see you had returned unharmed. You finished with the boat then? Yeah, we're done with the boat. Anything the village desperately needs? Well, I suppose Kazal's loss hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, it's so much more difficult than it was before. Everyone's still struggling to rebuild their lives. For now, we're just banding together as best we can. Okay. Yeah, because that dude, he was the main broker for all the merchants in this area, so it's understandable that once those contacts and connections are gone, it's very much harder to move product. I can definitely see why he's having some trouble. What's the problem? How fares the port? Well, it's in shambles, isn't it? The trade routes are open once more now that the danger is past, certainly. But no small number of merchants have had to sell their ships to make ends meet in the short term. Add to that the sailors we lost in the final days, and it's little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. Kazal and his consortium were still with us, I'm sure he'd have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that was a man who got things done, God's rest his soul. Yeah, like I said, all those connections and contacts that he had that he used to move product around and make sure everyone got the deals and sales they needed to make, he's not there anymore, so the entire local economy is pretty much collapsing. Greetings and welcome, traveler. If this is your first visit to Thavnair, then you must try my special Amaralasi. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. What could such a wonder cost, you wonder? Normally, I part with 3 bottles for the generous price of 19,800 gil, but for you, I'm willing to go as low as even 10,000. You'd be practically stealing from me. I am not Estinian. Estinian, who is... You're the one who is in that... was with that spear-toting fellow. Well, you can hardly blame a man for trying. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still sifting through the ashes, so to speak. Sister, spare me. We might as well have that ugly tower back for the scant few travelers we see these days. I myself have the coin to buy at local prices. I tell you, if I didn't charge the odd adventurer a small fortune for afternoon tea, I'd be scavenging for scraps in the street. Yikes. Alright, back to Megaduda. So, Yeah, with the local merchants done and over with, it's going to be so much harder to move any kind of product at all. That's rough. Let's see. Alright, so on to Megaduta. Here we go. Looks like Estinian finished before me. Oop. Twould seem my stint on Freetra's back did not go unnoticed. I couldn't take 2 steps before another Hannish local was thanking me profusely for saving their home. Good on you, Estinian. My advisor's return. Just made it back myself. What'd you learn? Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of the time. Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling, to say the least, and there are few places I can enter comfortably without risk of flattening some small cart or stall. Yeah, makes sense. Glad to know he's thinking of his people. Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people of Palakistan were unanimous in their reply. They are surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they persevered with some assistance from Yeldamad. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like, and I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs, for the most part. Palakistan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard good news and bad. The quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant's gall to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of stone leaving Thavnair has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity dependent on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacles to the flow of trade so we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn in Akyali and Yildamed? Without their trade contacts, they're pretty much done for economically. I see. Without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch, which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yedlamad. I am reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beast sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale repeated over and over. So many lives lost. Yeah, that poor kid. He's doing the best he can, but still. Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome. But we will not. Elijah, Estinian, I will consider the perspectives you brought me and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries. Alright, sounds like a plan.
such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more.
Smart.
None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Karazal's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
Okay, very smart.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society.
True.
Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
An orphanage and a school, paid for by the treasure. Here we go. Idleshire's orphanage was funded through trade in highly coveted goods.
Of course, we can draw on trading profits to build a new institution. Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadal's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage.
There we go.
Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
Why not honor one of your most successful merchants?
A successful merchant? I believe I see thy reasoning. Karazal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavnair, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well.
Well said.
Isn't that right, men?
If someone had been there to comfort him, tell him it would be all right. He may not have turned.
Boy, Murad was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Yeah, definitely that would help him.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation.
Well
Now,
done.
Dean, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor.
Hell yeah.
Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Hell yeah. Getting right to work, getting things done.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. I'm reminded of Ishgard.
It's amazing what we can get done when we put all that nonsense aside and work together. Swift, decisive, and intelligent action, always, always, is better than sitting around wringing your hands about what we can do to rebuild, what's the right move. No, address the needs of the people first, figure out what needs to be done, and then do it. That's how it's done. Vritra is warming to his role as satrap. Clearly, all those years behind the curtain were not spent napping. True, true. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I hear... Oh, let's turn that off. But I bear a message from Archon Ishtola. She plans that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Okay. Ishtola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? Yeah? Oh, Farshan's coming along too. Thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Ahewan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done. And I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. Alright. As you wish, allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. I don't know why that one tripped me up. Alright. High Crucible, where's the... Here it is. High Crucible. And it's way up there. Okay, that's fine. So then, let's see what Ishtola has to say. For one who claims it is too late to save his sister, Vritra seems awfully interested in whatever revelations Ishtola might have to share. Yeah, I mean, if there's any kind of hope at all.
right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening.
Okay.
For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
Interesting.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first.
Okay. Picturing. Massive headache, seizure, and then...
You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world.
Okay, yeah.
The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway.
Yeah. It's the void between worlds. I'm following so far.
Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah.
Then what of the many voids sent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical.
Okay.
For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate.
Okay.
The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first.
True. Okay. So the soul goes through, and they put it into a simulacrum of the gargoyle's true body.
And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that void scent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
Okay.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
Interesting.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No, the danger is too great.
Really? You're backing down?
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Fair enough.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
Ah, come on. I'm no stranger to an army of murderous horrors. I've faced them down before.
I assure you I was most attentive, and I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
As if I'd even let you go alone. So much for taking it easy.
Since when were you one for the quiet life?
Since forever! I'd be perfectly content sitting in Ul'dah, sipping down wine, ale, and watching dancers all day. But since I have to do this, I might as well do it right.
Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
Put your life in my hands, just as long as you don't do anything stupid, Ishtola, okay? You put yourself in more
As I said
dangerous
before,
situations.
I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Of course she has a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daymir was overseeing the project.
Daymir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
Okay.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made voice.
Interesting.
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daemir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
Ooh,
If
that must
that's
have hurt.
true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
With Graha's favorite place to sneak around.
Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Sounds good to me. Where are you going?
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves. See myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Alright, have fun, Estinian.
Let us be on our way as well.
Right, let's get it done.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
That's the Scions for you, ever ready to step into the literal gates of hell. And of course, come back unscathed. Let's get going. Oh, this is taking a while to load. What's going on here? Hope I didn't lose connection. That would be unfortunate. Oh, come on. There's no way it should be taking this long. Unless there's just an absolute ton of people packing the place, then maybe it would take this long. Here we go. It's weird. It looks almost empty. Alright, well, Stola. We are to enter Numenon's restricted archives with a minimum of fuss. We must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. No one springs to mind? of, Skullark, Monteshane. He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. Yeah, alright. Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us. Okay, yeah. Oh hell, there's no back door to get through this place, is there? Nope. Okay. Guess we're going around then. I wouldn't say that they make this place difficult to traverse, just that it's not as easy as it could be. I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7 and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had the chance to attend the studium. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louisoix took him in off the streets, he was put in the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life might have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Tea at the last stand after a day of lectures. Well, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. The dank cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get, but it was a wondrous, magical childhood nonetheless. She really does love Master Matoya. On to Shane. Here we go. Ah, visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Skullark, but we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Oh, no furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety, yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Well, we need to open up a void gate. That's basically what it boils down to, right? Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Daemir has lain dormant in Sharlayan's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Marvelous! An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I, for one, do not believe you would use this knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request to the forum for consideration. Glad to hear it. Although, your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. No? Like who? Why, Master Fortuno, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortuno on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well. We will pay a visit to Levior estate and plead our case. As we should. Ah, one last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager. So if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity... Of course, Scholar. We'll be sure to pass on any revelations. That guy, I can just tell that back in his youth he was constantly getting into trouble. Let's see, how do I get out of here? This way? Nope, this is not the right way. Okay, love your estate. There we go. Master Elijah, Mistress Ishtola, how may I be of service? Come to speak with Master Fortuno. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the Master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. He's probably not going to be too happy with the offer we have. Well. Miliance would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some matter of import to discuss. True, we do. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. We're gonna crack open some forbidden knowledge and rip open a void gate? Are you in or are you out? Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholar Montagne expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you, will not attempt to circumvent the forum's authority again, unless it is an absolute necessity, of course. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people, yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. 'Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for our cooperation. Sounds like a fair deal. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at Baldessian Annex. Alright. At least he's treating us more fairly this time around instead of being all cold and uptight. Also, as we're heading over there, to those of you who are watching, thank you, as always. And of course, if you have any suggestions to help improve the stream, or if you have any commentary whatsoever, by all means, please, feel free to chat and let me know. If there's any way that you can help me help you, then by all means, let me know. Oh, that didn't take long at all. What's their decision? What did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Charlian, and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms, I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry into the archive was the least we could do in return. That is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yes, well, I am sure you are aware this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there is... and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor, and I bid you good day. He's still a little cold with us, but what's to be expected? Ever the same, that one. Uncompromising? Aye. But that very stoicism is exactly what oh my god! I'm forgetting how to speak all of a sudden. Aye, but that very stoicism is exactly what Charlian needed to guide it through not one, but 2 exoduses. Absolutely. If I were but 5 years younger, I'd cast aside my lectern and join you on your adventures in a heartbeat. Only 5? Come on. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk in through the door. Our focus will be on finding House Daymare's research notes, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. Let's not get carried away, Y'shtola, alright? Mondashane is waiting to offer you further instructions. You'll be heading directly for the archives from here, I presume? Yes? Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. He's a good guy. So many different quests to pick up. But for now, I am focusing on getting through this and into Dawn Trail. I have absolutely allowed myself to fall so far behind. And I desperately need to catch up. Here we are, Numenon. I think the set of instructions I laughably imagined may actually exist, but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Alzadal III's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Yeah. Sometimes the obvious is a little too obvious, so you simply overlook it. Arkan Y'shtola and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Absolutely. Follow me if you would. Watch your step, and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. As it should be. Lots of very old parchment down there. Very easy to start a fire. Ooh, that's cool. Very interesting bookshelves. Such a cool area.
If House Damia's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
All right. I think it's funny, that little drone said use of naked flames is prohibited, but they have candles burning on a table there. Is that not a naked flame? Ah, come on. Yeah, look, right here. They're worried about fire, then this should be covered up or something. Okay, Untitled Journal. Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger, but trembling like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. Though you are tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. Come on. I kind of do want to read more. That does seem like an interesting book. Let's see, the weighty tome. In the year 1564 of the 6th astral era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of fire-aspected magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether should one who believes in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence? Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing, and if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age? Yet with no means to verify the pronouncements, how could one be certain they were true? Though your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. That is an interesting thought, though. Could someone with limited knowledge summon a being with unlimited knowledge? Definitely something to think about. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as devised by Nuasan, the 9th Patriarch of House Daemir. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlean Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. Yep, this is the one. Hey, Stola. Have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies, I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Yeah, don't be doing that. That's kind of dangerous, Ishtola. Here's the book. Well done, Elijah. I think you may have found our prize. Of course I did. I'm great at finding stuff. That's why you guys have me do it all the time.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Daemir's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about.
Alright, let's do it.
Among the ranks of the Voidsent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard.
Interesting.
From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial atomos.
That is cool.
How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon void scent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
Like I said earlier, sometimes something so obvious is too obvious and you completely overlook it.
And still, House Daemir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for.
Progress at last.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves? But that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Oh, come on. Let's abuse that privilege. Let's abuse the hell out of that privilege. There's so much we could learn down here. But, I guess if you want to play by the rules, then fine. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atomos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hannish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Daemir project. Yeah, true. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed. Do you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature? I will be here. Patron mode disabled, security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thavnair and look for her at the Great Work. Yep, let's do it. I'm sure she will be absolutely thrilled to help us with this. I mean, she's got every bit the thirst for knowledge that Y'shtola has. There's no way she'd be able to pass this up. Nidhana! We've got some forbidden knowledge for you. Y'shtola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study and that you want me to be a part of it. We couldn't think of anyone else. I have no doubt you'll be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Daemir. I never even knew such a work existed. Few should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was? But that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand? I can hardly wait to read it. See, I was absolutely right. She is thrilled. To think the Daimir were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have we lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new Mach Atomos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Daimir project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Charlene trembling in their sandals? No alchemist of the great work could resist. You're a woman after my own heart. Oh, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we've built it? Oh, you know, rip open a void gate. So there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made Atomos is to expand this hidden portal, then I will need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. And by all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we've finished gathering the components I require. What components are you talking about? Charlene's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrally infused water. For such a liquid, you need to go no further than the Font of Maya. The ascetics of old once favored the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you would be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vrichera to join us. The idea I have in mind wouldn't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it then? We meet back here anon. Alright, let's do it. I remember this place. It's a real tragic spot. Astral aspected water. Flask filled with astrally infused waters scooped from a strangely specific point in the depths of the Font of Maya. Oh. Let's do it. Oh, looks like everyone's here already. Boy Murad was glad to hear the news of the Foundation. It means a new life for him and his sister. Okay. Archon Stoller requested that I join you, but for the plans she offered scant detail. Oh, I forgot to mention, the Font of Maya attracts aggressive wildlife, and you should watch out for them when you go there next time. My apologies. Didn't even warn us about the potential danger. It's like, oh yeah, go get this. And then by the time we get back, oh man, I totally forgot to tell you about the dangerous wildlife all over the place. I'll warn you about it next time. Like, come on. Yep, I've got your flask right here. Here you go. Yes, this should suffice. Thank you. Look who I came across. Stinian seemed in need of diversion, and we, in turn, may have need of his lance. Right then. Now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsu's boat again? Not this time. Once Ishtola informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Akyali. Excellent. Your Excellency is ever gracious host, shall we? Yep. Off to, Akyali. Which, yeah, doesn't have an Ethernet, so we'll just right up over there. I guess that's all that's left of the tower? Or something. I don't even know what that is. Something for me to check out another time, I suppose. Ship is yours to command. Alright. This is so exciting. Alzadal's legacy, to see the truth of a legend with mine own eyes. Yep. Let's go.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is she doing?
What is it you're doing now?
There's something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater.
Alright, yeah, that makes
Gra has
sense.
theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Naturally.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
I don't think I'd do anything different. Maybe send a familiar.
Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Vritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences.
Okay.
Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
She seems nervous. What are you about to summon?
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born. Water, water, froth and foam!
What was that? What was that?
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Oh, the poor woman. She's so embarrassed.
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate. I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual. In any case, these two should serve us well. This one will bear a warding scale.
Okay, good deal.
And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah, yes, of course.
He was just stood there in shock.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nidana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
Froth and foam.
Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know. Let us begin, shall we?
Come on, I had to do it. Any chance to poke fun at Ishtola, I gotta take it.
Nixies, into the void.
There we go. Struggle to picture Ishtola as a little girl. Easier to believe she sprang fully formed from one of Master Matoya's cauldrons. Oh, that's kind of mean, Estinian. Sister saved me, I will never see Ishtola the same way again. Froth and foam indeed. Oh, God. Every time I come here, it reminds me of that dark portal above the Crystal Tower, and the final lash of Asda's tail. Asdaya's tail as she plunged into the void. We need to wait for a time to ensure a meaningful result. Be patient and keep watch for any intruders. Okay. Let's keep watch.
I think we've waited long enough. Nixies, return to my side.
Okay, let's see what happened. Ooh, that one is not doing well. Ooh.
Thank you, little one. You did well.
The poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We're out of time. I must reseal the void gate.
Yep, hurry up, close it. Oh, jeez.
Coming through!
That's horrifying.
In the name of Alzadal III, I bar this door unto the void.
Whoa. Quick work, Varshan. Good job.
Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent.
Yikes.
The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium.
Okay, so the talisman can be used to...
Rest now, little ones.
Okay, so no changes really need to be made to the talismans, right? We're good to go as long as we're wearing one.
Graha's theory was correct, then.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation.
Oh.
It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently.
Huh.
We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Ah, my apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The entire world completely corrupted in the cloud of darkness.
I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way.
Hell yeah.
But first, I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives?
Britra? You okay?
Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
It's lost in thought about something.
We will see you back in the city then.
Yeah, see you back in the city. Justinian knows something's up with him. Alright, so let's see. What should I get? Fending, slaying, aiming, healing. Yes. Right? I think that's the right one for my class. We'll see. Let's crack this bad boy open. And, ooh, yes. Alright, Ashola, what do you got for me? Once Nidhana succeeds in replicating the Makatamos, this door to the 13th will be ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realize this is more my endeavor than yours. To be honest, I have no interest in visiting the Void myself. Might we discuss this later? There's something I must do first. Okay. Why does everyone insist on being so secretive? I at least had good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Should we proceed with our preparations then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the Void's influence for a prolonged length of time. And I think that is a problem we can address without involving the brilliant but busy alchemists who created it. Who do we know that excels at this kind of structural augmentation? Garland Ironworks, absolutely. Those guys would love to get their hands on this. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the Void and its volatile energies. With his experienced hand at the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Let us visit their operation in Ralger's Reach and commission their best and brightest. I know Nero himself is definitely more experienced with the Void's corruption, so if anyone's going to have something to say about this, it's going to be Nero. In fact, I imagine he's going to feel rather insulted that we didn't immediately go to him first. Just a hunch. Oh good, I didn't have to travel here. It just plopped me right down. Elijah, what brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president, actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid? Certainly. I'll see if he has a moment free. Yep, there's Sid. Pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us. Yep, we need you to work on some wording skills, Sid. Heading into the void and to find a lost dragon. It sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure. Honestly, I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after Meteon and that bloody mess. Fair enough. Alright, let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation? Yeah, here you go. Seems some manner of corrosion has set in around the scratch on its surface, much as the void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds. In which case, our best bet may be to simply prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. And how might we achieve that? We have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound which might upset the scale's delicate alchemical balance. Far safer to dress it in armor. What kind of armor? We'll construct a protective casing, one utilizing metal alloys with high ethereal conductivity, so as not to impede the talisman's primary function. Smart. A suit of armor, as you said. Nero has compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design just to be sure. If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols. I swear, I've never had such a reckless employee. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable. We know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtless be worth the wait. Absolutely. The hard part will be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands while we sneak about doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. Come on, don't be mean to Jessie. She's there to keep you on track, Sid. You'd never get anything done otherwise. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let's return to the great work and see how Nidana is getting on with the Makatamos. Yeah? Let's do it. Once again, to everyone watching, thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you're having a good time. If you've got any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to voice them. So, let's see what Nidana's got for us.
Hey, Stola. The adjustments are going well, I hope?
'Tis a lengthy process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records. What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Alzadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components, and I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos. I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
And were you not also fearless, heedless even, in your determination?
Yeah, those adventurers were... those alchemists were adventurers in their own right, I guess you could say.
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. It created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together. But I am satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Celestinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire?
God, that is loyalty. Oh, they're such good people.
We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
Hell yeah.
I am grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet...
Now you listen to me, Varshan.
He's getting the tough talk now.
You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
Oh, my heart.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
Hey, Sinian's here.
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank you for building the orphanage. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy. And I hope that you and your sister can be together again, too.
To protect them well, you must take heart.
Take heart and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you. And here I stand, failing to live up to them. If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzatan.
That's right.
My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavnir for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
I think they're gonna do just fine.
Take care and fair fortune, little brother. Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
God, they're all such good people. Alright, Y'shtola, what do you got for us? You surprise me, Estinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vritra reach his conclusion. 'Twas for the greater good. The worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night, and had travelers believing the palace wrecked by some unnatural storm. Oh God, come on, man. What of your own answer, then? You seem disinclined to venture into the void. When I was one with Nidhogg, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts. His endless rage, my rage, and the soul-chilling grief he nursed for Radatosker's death. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vritra that pain, then I will follow you. Any other former scions we should call on? I'd rather not bother our comrades with aught less than a dire threat to the star. We four should be sufficient for our purpose. Okay. Now on to specific... Wow, there goes my mouth again, not working along with my brain. Unlike the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13th has been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan, as such, is to explore the void in stages, withdrawing to safety after each brief foray. It would be more convenient had we some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace chambers should serve. Come, let us reconvene outside Megaduta. Alright. Nabdeen? What? Someone needed to get that boy a good talking to? You don't suppose I'll be reprimanded, do you? I did just yell at the satrap. No, Nabdeen, you're good. He needed that kind of tough talking to. Alright, so, back to Megaduta. So we will require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? Well, the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vault. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove and make a room or two ready for habitation. Good. Please inform me when you've completed the arrangements. Good deal. As you heard, we will have you settled in Megaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, Your Excellency. Yeah? You risk yourselves to aid me in my search for Ashdai. Providing comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destination. The gods only know how long our explorations might possibly take, or what our chances of a success might possibly be. Succeed or fail, I am grateful to you for convincing me to take the attempt. On that note, I will return to the great work and lend what help I can to Nidana. If you've preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th, now is the time. Good deal. All I need is my armor and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. You know what this means to me, Elijah, but my purpose need not consume you as well. We are headed to another world. Find what joy you can in the experience, for you are a traveler, an adventurer at heart. This I know. Damn right. Meanwhile, in the 13th. As the void sent Xenos used. Wonder what the significance with them is.
And thus I am returned. To this world, bereft of saviors.
Interesting. I wonder what role they're gonna play. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to stop for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it always, and I hope to see you again very soon. Have a good one, and keep yourself safe.